The Pacific Dining Car, A Long Goodbye, 1921 to 2020 to 2024, RIP. It was originally published on our Substack, esoteric.substack.com/Pacific Dining Car on August 3rd, 2024. If you never went to the Pacific Dining Car, this is going to be hard to believe, but trust us when we say once we had something truly magical until stubbornness and selfishness and lack of accountability took it away. Imagine an egalitarian Musso and Frank where someone could dine like a millionaire for under $30. You could drop several $100s on a meal at PDC, but you didn't have to. If you were on a budget or you didn't care for big slabs of meat on your plate, you could ask for the breakfast menu at any hour of their 24-hour service and enjoy the most elevated egg or pancake feasts laid out on bright linen tablecloths by lovely servers who treated everybody like family and like royalty. The Pacific Dining Car was really my place. As a poor museum worker and fanzine editrix, this is where I'd take visiting creative pals to give them a taste of old Los Angeles culture without stressing their equally moth-filled wallets. And it was never lost on us that this was Raymond Chandler's old neighborhood, where he finally took the leap from frustrated oilman to mystery writer, or that Jimmy Webb had courted his muse, Susie Horton, close by, or Bobby Kennedy died across the street at Good Samaritan. The dining car was enormous, and like Clifton's cafeteria, also a blessed memory, nobody ever got the hint that their table was needed and they ought to move along, so a meal could stretch into hours with fresh OJ or an extra basket of bread or a shift to the bar, snug in the elegant old world atmosphere of silly paintings, vintage photos, gleaming wood, and shiny metal fixtures. The best seat in the house was just past the door in the original 1921 custom-built faux train car that had been first put to culinary use in 1921 at 7th and Westlake off of what was then called Westlake Park. You could see everyone pass through the narrow space and keep an eye on the bustling kitchen within. It was fun to try to imagine what it must have been like when the car was a wee lunch counter operated by Fred and Grace Cook on the sleepy edge of the business district, and think of all the peckish Angelinos who'd stepped inside this cozy space to fill their bellies over a century. But James Elroy liked the deep, dark recesses in the brocaded back of the house where he could hunch over a steak and hold court, and it was there, at Elroy's table in 2007, that he anointed our budding true crime and LA history tour company with the gracious offer to host a special tour about his life, his work, and the unsolved murder of his mother. And we were already on the map, but this kindness gilded its edges, and writing a tour for a host as demanding as Elroy and squiring fans as intense as his fans gave us a crash course in professional hospitality that has colored all our public work since then. You have not put on a show until your star suddenly demands a quadruple espresso in deepest San Gabriel and you find a way to scratch his itch. So when we'd visit the dining car, we'd always nod respectfully towards Elroy's booth, grateful that his creative energies and ours had briefly flown in sync. But something dark was bubbling in the heart of this precious legacy business, a poison that would kill not only the business, but destroy the beautiful building, too. Okay, so, like everybody else with a public-facing LA business, the dining car closed in March 2020. They claimed $625,000 in PPP pandemic loan relief to support 76 jobs. But oddly, only $203,000 was ultimately forgiven, which was not the only peculiarity. In September 2020, when we were all stir crazy and pivoting to video or to takeout, the dining car went bust. A pair of auctions of the Santa Monica branch, then the Westlake OG, sounded alarm bells. All the familiar decor was on the chopping block, including the beloved twin plastic steers on the pole sign out front. It did not take a detective to smell a rat. Cook's grandson, Wes Idle III, spun a tale of closing, quote-unquote, temporarily while hawking frozen steaks online. But what was the dining car without all its stuff? After the auction, someone broke through the roof of the vacant building and made a mess of it. Then came the Historic Cultural Monument nomination and a lot of drama that we were alone in chronicling for a spell, because we read every document that comes out of City Hall and we were attending all the virtual hearings about historic places. And in one of those hearings, in May of 2023, the dining car officially went off the rails. And you can read our live tweets at the Substack, esoteric.substack.com/Pacific Dining Car. So As the landmark nomination submitted by an Orange County attorney teetered between recognizing the entire restaurant or paring that designation back to the original portable faux train car and the attached steel kitchen, supposed investors fritzed out as they realized there was actually a huge divide between the interests of the property and building owner, Ms. Toby Idle, the widow of Wes Idle II, and those of the person who held the rights to the restaurant's name, the website, and the recipes, Wes Idle III, who was Wes's son and Toby's estranged stepson. And bizarrely, Councilmember Gil Cedillo, who was hiding out and cashing paychecks in the aftermath of his role in the racist LAFD recording scandal, emerged from his hole to champion the interests of not the property owner, but Wes Idle III, the business owner, which was an act raising suspicions of political pay to play. And even if the Pacific Dining Car was granted this civic honor, reopening the restaurant for business was going to take a lot of finesse and even more money. And in the end, there was not enough of either. The landmark designation only recognized the portable elements, the faux train car and the kitchen. The fixtures, the sign, those were MIA, possessions 9/10 of the law. The dining car never reopened, and over several years, this oldest and most protected, quote unquote, part of the structure became the back wall of a growing homeless tent encampment. Now, concerned Angelinos all ask the same thing. What is the point of reporting dangerous conditions that could lead to a fire that destroys a quote unquote protected landmark like the Pacific Dining Car? This neighborhood, in what is now Eunices Hernandez's Council District 1, is perhaps the filthiest and most neglected in the entire city, comparable only to deepest Skid Row. People who live in tent shelters struggle to find safe housing despite how the city puffs itself up. Code violation reports to LADBS are regularly and wrongly closed out by inspectors for no stated reason. Hernandez and her senior staff have been actively hostile to preservation in Westlake. It's been weird, actually. So, forgive us, Pacific Dining Car. You deserved better from all of us. But let this be a warning to every second wife and angry middle-aged kid, every nth generation proprietor eager to cash out and ditch Los Angeles for more conservative pastors. Tex. Fair tax, yes. Legacy LA businesses are not merely real estate, they are part of our soul. If you can't or won't keep your family's commercial heritage alive, please sell it to someone who will. Like some of your longtime employees or managers who actually know the business better than you ever could. Letting a Los Angeles treasure rot as a tangible symbol of their interpersonal beef, as the Idols did with Pacific Dining Car, with the aid of many others inside and outside of Los Angeles City Hall, it is a stain on the legacy of a place that means more than they can ever imagine. We would not want that karma for anything. We wrote then, before it was all knocked down and carted away, maybe there's enough left of the landmark to salvage. If there is, put it on a truck and move it somewhere safe. No vacant landmark is safe in Westlake. Sell the land if you can. Leave us with our memories, which are sweet in spite of this shameful end. Well, that didn't happen. There's nothing there now. And as we wrote then, the Pacific Dining Car is dead, now a part of history and patronized only by the ghosts. We will love and miss it forever, and will never forgive those who let it and all of us down. It happens, my friends, again and again and again and again, and it will continue to happen until Angelinos say, enough. We care about our history, we care about our gathering places, we care about each other, and we're not going to allow people who simply hold property, speculators and disinterested investors and checked out former owners, we're not going to let them create the blight that destroys the opportunity for the future. And I mean, I'm going to get a little spooky here, but every time I went into the dining car, I thought, this is a place where people get engaged. This is a place where families start. And that went on for, well, okay, it probably wasn't like that when it first opened. It probably was just sort of a hamburger joint when it first opened. But over time, it became a very romantic place. And there are people who will not exist. There are families that are not formed because the dining car isn't here anymore as a place to have a really, really great romantic date. And as Angelinos who love this city and love our heritage, not because it's like cool physical buildings, although it is, but because it's places where we come together and feel free and safe and express ourselves and make choices in our lives that change us and change the city around us. All we have to say is no more. No more fires, no more blight, no more empty buildings, no more giving up on Los Angeles. I believe in the Pacific Dining Car. I want you to have places like the Pacific Dining Car. And anyone who is listening to the sound of my voice and thinks, but really we need housing? Honey, we got housing. There's housing all over the damn place. A lot of it's empty. Once you have housing, you need a heck of a lot more. And without places to go that stir the soul and that make you feel like you're part of the present, the past, and the future, you're nothing. So please, stop speaking up for the destruction of places that matter. One day you'll know how wrong you were, but in the meantime, we all need to get to work and save Los Angeles. It's worth it. Oh, dining car. Oh, idols. Oh, Westlake. Let's fight.